This is my code for the web scraper. First I have a database connection file. So this is all the connection details for the Firebase database, and then I initialize the database using Firebase. It's an import that allows Firebase use with Python. I authenticate a user here. It's just a test user, and it gets the database connection. So I have a database check file then that uses this database connection, and it will try to get the last set. So this file here is getting the last set from the database. It's checking what the last set is and getting the ID of it. So it starts at 1 and it will check if a set exists. So it will check if the set exists, then it will add it to the database and then go on and check if the next set exists. If it doesn't exist, then it will say -1 from that, and that's the last set that was found. And then it will then go into the subsets in the set then. So the last subset is set as 1, and then it will try to grab the subset with the ID of 1 from the database. If it doesn't exist, it will -1 from it and say the last set was found. If the subset does exist, then it will add 1 to it and then check if that next set exists. So it does is there a subset with ID 2? It will add 1 again until it finds the last one. And then the last subset and last set numbers, they're used by the set and subset scraper. So this part of the app is then checking if a new set and subset exists. So using the last set and subset numbers that were found in the last file, they'll then go to the Pokemon website and check if a new set or subset exists. So it will try to find the page. It will put in the set and subset numbers, and it'll try to find that page, and if it exists, it will say that a new subset exists. It will add it to a array that's holding subsets, so we'll add that subset to the array, and then it will +1 to the new subset, and then check if another new subset exists, and if it does, it adds it to the array again. So then the array of new subsets that were found and sets are sent to the web scraper file, and this file is what's gathering all the card data. This function here is to return the HTML details grabbed from the given URL, so that's the URL, you send it in there, and we'll return the HTML. So if the subset array is none, so if no new subsets were found, it'll just print no new subsets and the web scraper will stop. Otherwise, it will go through each subset in the subset array. It will get the ID of the subset. It will set the set of the subset as the last set that was found. It will then get the card data from the URL. It's using the scrape function there, and I send in the URL, which is built here. So the URL start is in a data file I have in core here, and that contains the start of the URL, which is the Pokemon website, and then the end of it is made up of it's the set ID and the set code. So we'll then go through all the different sections of the web page. So it'll get the span, that contains the number of pages. So it gets the number of cards by checking the number of pages minus 1 multiplied by 12, because there's 12 cards on each page, but in the last page it doesn't have exactly 12. And then it should add the number of cards that are on the last page. So it will run through, it gets the card's name, the subset, it'll go through the subsets first, and it'll get the subset's name. Then it will build the subset with the data got, so the ID is set, the name is set, the number of cards. The year is just set to 2018. I didn't scrape the year from the web page, and I think this is the description, it's just set to test. This isn't scraped either. And then they are sent to the database. Once it sends the details of the first subset, it will go through the subset's card details. So while the page count is less than or equal to the number of pages that was gotten, it will go loop through each page, and it will loop through each of the 12 cards on each page, but the cards in the card section, so it won't be 12 on the last page, but it will still work. And it will get the card's image, the card's name, all the details will be gotten. And then with those details, the card is built. The DTO files are in here. There's a card object, and the subset and set ones, they're all in there. And then I use a DAO for sending them to the database. So it gets the database.get connection. It builds the card into the data structure that's required for Firebase, and then it sends off that data into the right section. So that's done here. There's the card object built, and then the card DAO, and then the card is added to the database there. Card DAO.add card, and then it will print if it fails to upload it to the database. And then the card count increases. It will loop through each card, doing all that code each time, and then it also will loop through each page. Also for the card, the description isn't being scraped. That's the test data. That is how this web scraper works. So here I will show you the web scraper running. I just have to move to the directory it's stored in, and then write python web scraper.py, and that will start it running. So first it's searching for the last set. The last set is found, and then it will search for the last subset, which is 0, so there's no subsets currently on the database, and it finds 5 subsets for that set. So then it will go through that subset and it will get any card data for it. So it's going through subset 1, it gets a card count of 144 cards, it gets the name of the card, which is Sun and Moon. So it shows you the details of the subset, and it's looping through. It says the subset is successfully uploaded to the database, then it's looping through each of the cards and uploading them to the database. So you can see here on Firebase all the cards being added there. And you can see the details of the cards are going through. And you can see the subset was added. And then I'll show you another subset being added. So when it gets to subset 2, and it gets the details, and then they're sent to Firebase there. And it will do this for every subset once it runs through all the cards and uploads all the cards. So there's a subset tree being added as well. I'll then show you the application. So that's the forget password screen. I'm going to register a user. So that user was created. A toast shows up that I must have forgot to delete. And then I'll sign out and then sign back in as this user just to show sign in is working. And login is done. So these are the user settings, so they can change their email, change their password, send the password, reset email, delete their account, or log out. These are the play tools. So there's a timer I started. These are the descriptions for attack effects. There's a coin flip. The GX counter can be clicked. And then the damage trackers, these will go between 0 and 400 and they increase by 10 each time, so give a toast when you try to go less than 0, or if you try to go over 400 it will show up again that it cannot be any higher. So stop the timer and then start it again, we'll reset it to 0. Now I'll show you the cards. So we'll open up the sets, and if I pick Sun and Moon, it'll open subsets, and then I pick one of those and it will show the cards. It loads them in a bit slow the first time, but they'll load in faster after this. And clicking on a card shows a bigger image of it.